Have you ever wondered how to make ketchup? Well, let's actually just make some. It's actually surprisingly easy, and I've seen some other recipes out there call for it to be cooked for over about 8 hours in a slow cooker. And actually the method I'm going to show you, I tested, and it actually turns out that that long cooking time isn't really necessary. Ketchup I was able to make not only had the right taste, but due to a special ingredient we'll talk about at the end, it also had the right texture. The same kind of texture you might expect from a Heinz ketchup. Alright, so let's make some ketchup. So first, let's gather some spices. We're gonna need 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, and 1/4 teaspoon of mustard powder, 2 cloves, a bay leaf, and although technically not a spice, we need 1/4 cup of granulated sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of salt to start us off. And out of compulsion, I just stirred this all together, but it's not necessary. Now, if you didn't catch all that, don't fret. I'll have all the ingredients listed in the description of this video. Now let's move on to the tomato product. I have one 28 ounce or 800 gram can of diced tomatoes, as well as one 6 ounce or 170 gram can of tomato paste. These two products together will be the base of our ketchup. Now it's just a matter of heating these tomatoes up, adding in our spices, and letting this stew for a few minutes. Set a pot over medium heat and add our tomato products in. In case you're wondering why we're adding the tomato paste, it really has all this great concentrated umami flavor that we want to capture in our ketchup without the need for us to cook down the tomatoes ourselves to make the paste. So just go ahead and add in our sugar and spices and give this a good stir. Now for me, you can see this mixture is way too thick, which resulted in a ketchup volcano, which erupted all over me and my camera equipment. And so to prevent this from happening, we need to thin this out a little by adding some water. I just partially filled the can of tomato paste with about 1/4 cup of water, and then I just mixed this into the mixture. And I also took this opportunity to turn the heat down from medium to medium low. What we ideally want is a small but steady bubbling of our ketchup. Now, the name of the game here is we want to cook this for 20 minutes. And this will really give our chance for the spices and ketchup to come together, as well as our ketchup to just thicken ever so slightly. Now, about 10 minutes into our cooking process, we need to add in our vinegar. And in my case, I'm adding about a 1/2 cup of white distilled vinegar. And also to add a little bit more of umami to our ketchup, I'm gonna add a little Worcestershire sauce, but this is completely optional. Now we're just gonna let this simmer for another 10 minutes. And after that 10 minutes, we're actually done with the cooking phase. So just go ahead and pull this off the heat and let's move on to the next step. After letting my ketchup mixture cool down for a few minutes, I pour the tomato mixture into my blender. Make sure to pull out that bay leaf. You don't really want that in there. Now what we wanna do here is really absolutely pulverize this stuff into a complete puree. I don't want to see an iota of whole tomato here, and that's really my goal. So I'm just going to blend this for a while until really I'm pretty sure there's nothing else there. Now also at some point during the stage, I want to add in that secret ketchup ingredient I mentioned earlier, Xantham Gum. Now Xantham Gum is a thickener that was discovered in the 60s, and this is what thickens ketchup and gives it that unique texture you might be familiar with from the ketchup in a glass bottle. We're going to add about 2 teaspoons of the Xantham Gum, and this stuff is kind of hard to mix in, so really you want to have it distributed with something like a blender. So just go ahead and pour this into the blender and let it go for another 30 seconds or so. After which point we can bottle or jar this stuff up and place it into the fridge. We're going to want to let it cool overnight, where it will not only cool down to ketchup temperature, but it'll also give a chance for the spices to kind of distribute equally and really just kind of make a full-bodied sauce. So the next day we can adjust for salt if it needs it, but mine is okay. But if yours just needs a little bit more, go ahead and add it. Chef John always recommends salting a sauce at the temperature it's supposed to be enjoyed. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please share my video. My views on these videos could really use some love. All right, well, thank you for watching. Bye. Wake up, mayonnaise. We have work to do.